It's Wes, and today it's time to talk about the FalconEyes SO-28TD. It's a lot of numbers and letters. What does that even mean? Well, let's hit the B-roll and find out. The FalconEyes 28TD, just, to have a cute little nickname, is a flat LED light that is surprisingly thin and yet gives perfectly diffused light. FalconEyes has 3 lights in this line, the 28, the 48, and the 68. They're all very similar in thickness, but obviously just different in light output and size. So the 28 is the baby brother of the lineup. So let's jump right into it and talk about the build quality. This thing is mostly plastic, but it has some metal where it counts for the most part. The bracket itself is pretty thick metal. There's a metal ring surrounding it, which I appreciate because I'm not super gentle with this. It goes in my bag, it comes back out. It does work for me. And that metal ring around the edge is key to keeping this safe. The rest of it around here, though, is very plasticky. And the only downside of exactly how this is laid out with plastic versus metal that I can see are these side clips here that connect our round LED light panel to the swivel arm itself. I'm not sure that I 100% trust those. Haven't had anything break yet though. And again, I've used this quite a bit now. I've been using it for well over a month. I've taken too long making this review because it's been the height of wedding season. And as such, I'll have some image samples for you in a moment here. On the back you can see, instead of knobs and dials, there is actually an LED display. And I was a little bit concerned about this initially because I thought that that might make it difficult to change power settings and light settings quickly. But thankfully this is a fairly intelligent LED display. There's nothing tricky going on here. When you hold down the button, it very rapidly jumps up and down. Some devices in the past where when you hold the button down, it doesn't do anything, or when it does go for the quick change, it's very slow, it takes forever. This one I actually quite like the implementation of, haven't had any issues with. You have a little battery gauge there, little caveat there. Battery gauge, not super accurate. If you're using this at a very high output, say 100%, it will often die when the battery is showing 1/4 or even 1/2 power. So just get used to about how long this lasts. It will last at 100% power for 30 to 45 minutes easy on battery. Then there's also the ability to just plug it into AC with its power adapter. And as you can see, this just takes a regular run-of-the-mill Sony battery. You can get these just about anywhere. Although they produce their own VitalPal, the company that sent this to me. This is my camera bag that I bring in for wedding prep for a lot of different parts of the wedding day. And generally speaking, for wedding prep sessions, in the morning of a wedding, I don't like to use off-camera flash. I don't like things popping and stuff. I like things to be as natural and organic as possible. And so that's where this guy comes in. For the makeup station, instead of pop, 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 I've been using this. And conveniently enough, this thing is so flat that I can take it and just jam it in the back of my camera bag. This isn't a big bag, this isn't a big pocket, but this is the perfect size for traveling around. And then when I'm done with it in the morning, I just toss it in the back of my car. Works great. It's not the most solid thing I've ever seen in the world, but it hasn't broken, so I can't fault it. It's an 8 out of 10 for build quality. Light quality, and I mean, isn't that one of the most important parts of this light? This light has a CRI of 95, which is quite high. 95, 96, that's about as high as you get in most of these products these days. And you can go from 3000K and slide it all the way up to 5600K. And you see that? That was a pretty quick change. It adjusts in increments of 50K, as honestly I wouldn't want to go any more granular than that. And it goes pretty quickly through it. One thing I like about this is the light output stays very consistent as you're sliding through, which a lot of lights don't do. Even some decently nice lights, they don't have their algorithms worked out properly to assign a proper amount of powers as it changes over between different white balances. And also, the light at all output levels appears to be entirely flicker-free, which is super important for me. That would be a complete deal breaker if this had any flicker to it at all. Appears to be fully DC rectified, and just raises and lowers the DC voltage going into these LEDs. Not that you need to know that. But light quality, straight up, coming out of this thing, it's a 9 out of 10. It is so diffuse, so pure, so clean. That's one thing that just blows my mind about this. This thick, perfectly clean. Feature set. And that's where things get a little bit tricky with this guy. You've got a lot of the basic features. You're missing a couple things that some lights will have, like say a remote control, a wider white balance range. That's alright. If this was bigger, I would definitely want a remote control. At this size, it's pretty easy to reach behind and clip it on and off and change things. But the main feature of this light is its size. Because it's not a point source light, it's not a light that's made to be diffused through another device, a softbox, an umbrella or something. It is what it is, it's this big. And that's kind of both the biggest feature and the Achilles heel of this light. It's super portable, super easy to stow. At the end of the day, this isn't a super flattering size of light. The light that I have up here is in a big 3-foot softbox that's lighting me. This is not a 3-foot light. Now, as I said, FalconEyes does have 2 more versions of this. So while this one is 30 centimeters in size, there's one that is 40, and there's one that is 60. So the 60 centimeter light, that is going to give some tremendous light. It's going to be soft, it's going to be even. Again, other features we have is ability to be powered off of the standard Sony F970 battery. You've got DC power, you've got the touchscreen, you've got the swivel, you've got a 1/4-20 thread in the bottom as well. It's got most of the stuff that you're going to be looking for. It's just, it is what it is when it comes to the size of the light. So, for feature set, we're going to give this a 7 out of 10. Value. I expected to find a lot more competition to this light when I was looking into value, and honestly, there's not a lot. Most LED panels are not this well diffused. Most LED panels are not round. I greatly prefer the look of round light to square light. It's just a thing. A lot of people do, some people don't care. But if I have a choice, I would much rather have it be round. It looks more natural. So trying to compare it to other round lights, one that immediately comes to mind that's very popular is Rotolight products. Now this is bigger than the Neo. It's about the same size as the Rotolight EOS. The EOS, however, is $1,000. This guy, $189, $169, depending on where you look. I have links in the description for this stuff if you want to check it out. But the EOS has an output of 5750 lux. That is 9 times as bright as this thing. So yeah, if you need a redonkulous amount of light, yeah, the EOS can give it to you for a lot more money. And we could compare this to its bigger siblings. You have the 48TD at $310 for 40 centimeters. You have the 68TD at $465. That might seem expensive, but honestly, with the kind of light it gives out, that's a pretty decent deal. And then there's Golden Eagle that also has their line of flat lights. There's this guy right here. But this is actually more the equivalent FalconEyes 48TD. And this comes in at $360. So, although it's slightly brighter than the FalconEyes models, it is more expensive. What I would like to say though, is that this and the EOS, for a lot of purposes for straight up video lighting, is brighter than it needs to be. This is heavy. This is kind of thick. It's a big boy. It works great. We're going to talk about it in a later video. But it doesn't need to be as powerful as it is for most applications. However, the FalconEyes lights, they're kind of in a sweet spot of power, and that's how they achieve their form factor. They're about the amount of power that you will need to get your job done. No more, just enough. And so it's a bit of a compromise. If you need tons of power, these aren't going to be the lights for you. But if you need just a normal amount of power, like what we're doing here, these lights perform fantastically. And it kind of comes around to that again for the build quality. They're built just enough to do the job that they need to do. They have just enough power to do the job that they need to do. They're kind of a well thought out, delightful compromise in order to produce this very unique and very interesting form factor. So what does that give us? Well, I'm going to give the value an 8 out of 10 because, again, not a lot of competition to this, but there are cheaper ways of producing LED light. So let's wrap it up. We have a total of 32 out of 40. Honestly, that's a little higher than I expected it to be after playing with this initially. Is it my favorite light ever? No, it's not. I'll be perfectly honest. It's very small, and so it has a niche application. But again, it's great at what it does for the size that it is. If I had the bigger light, say the 68, it would be much harder to use on location, but it would be better light. So there you have it. If you need this light, you already know that you want a light of this size. You want a bigger light? You know that too. I'm not going to tell you what you need or what you don't need, but that's my take on the FalconEyes SO-28TD. It's limited in its size, but it is fantastic for its size and what it does. I have some links in the description if you want to buy any of these things that I've talked about today. If you do that, you'll send a little bit of money this way to support this channel and to feed my family. And next time, we're going to be looking at the Dayon Smooth Q2. I previously, quite a long time ago, reviewed the original Smooth Q, and my, how the times have changed. Look how tiny this thing is. So stick around for more. Until next time, I'm going to have to go take some photos.